Hi, I'm Steve Podmore. I'm the founder of Transform Global. And in this highlight video, I'm going to cover what a new World Bank but better is all about. Well, what is a bank? A bank can be many things. If you ask 100 people in the street, you'll get 100 different answers. Well, here's what this vision is all about. Well, it's about creating something that resembles a multilateral development bank, like the World Bank or the African Development Bank or the European Investment Bank, for example. But unlike those entities, it's designed to have no geographic restrictions. It's designed to join the dots with all of those 270 development banks all over the world, but with many other investors as well. And part of what we're doing, we also think resembles a traditional merchant bank, a merchant bank that might essentially add value to its own assets or assets that it invests into and trade them eventually and underpin its banking model. It's really the old-fashioned merchant banks worked in agriculture and commodities, and they were really adding value to the community and financial services that could really be of value to farmers and to all manner of players. We think that model, that original model, has got some incredible merits. However, unlike the days of old, we think the value that can be most applicable here is in technology and in media. So we will be owning our own media platforms and technology platforms, which we'll cover in a moment. But also we've got elements like a commercial investment bank. The concept really is, unlike many commercial investment banks of today, it's not all about the money. Of course, the money is important, but it's very much about creating the mission and enabling the mission and the vision to deliver some incredible impacts around the most important issues in the world, and especially addressing the things that are left behind, ignored by many other players. So we won't be having funds that are just about trading or generating financial returns for financial sake alone. The funds and the activity of the bank is all about tackling the impacts, and especially those things that other players ignore but are truly, truly important. So when you merge these elements together, you have something that we call a sustainable innovation and development bank. Now, of course, the provocative term is a new World Bank, but better. But the goal really with this design is to create something that really is fit for purpose. Now, what does this mean? So we will create and own and operate our own media collaboration and funding platforms. And we've designed two already, Big Crowd and FundingTheGlobalGoals.tv. Well, they will actually sit under our media platform, a Transform Global Media. And it means what we have the ability to do is use these platforms to deliver deal flow, outreach, to reach investors and governments and many other parties that are really desirous and desperate for the kind of finance that's fit for the world. This also is good for our own recruitment as well. So these media platforms have some incredible components, and we'll cover this off in a separate presentation. Now, the bank, it will also raise capital. It will raise capital for high impact ventures, but also to other funds and platforms. But it will also develop and roll out optimized blended capital solutions. And we think this is critical for joined up thinking, to remove silos and to get capital flowing in a way that can deliver financial returns, of course, but do so in a way where many different parties can participate with less risk and greater overall returns and rewards in the kinds that they want, the blended returns that many impact investors and governments and other parties seek. So by doing that and creating these structures, which, without going into the technical detail on this presentation, is really all about that shared capability and providing that lower and affordable cost of capital so that it can go to where it can deliver really catalytic impact. Meaning, if you water the root, you get to eat the fruit. And that means if you don't do the early stage investing, the late stage investing that many investors want is not available. Now, we think blended capital solutions in the right kind of portfolio structure are really critical for this. So we'll be developing it, but we'll be developing it and using it ourselves as well. And in the SDG 360 Game Changer Fund that we will raise and manage ourselves with partners, some very exciting partners, we'll be able to both show that model off, show how it can deliver impacts, but we'll also offer it to other parties all over the world. The goal really is to help address things like climate change, all of the issues that that underpin the Sustainable Development Goals, which are also risk and resilience threats for us all. Well, as we mentioned, there is a fund. So in addition to the bank, what we designed is a cornerstone fund called the SDG 360 Game Changer Fund. Now, these numbers are very large. We accept this is would be the largest fund of its kind when it is done, certainly if it's done within the next year or so. But what we believe is it would still be both the largest but the most innovative fund structure, but innovation in a good sense, not in a wild, risky sense, but in a very, very sensible approach to risk management. So that 9 billion, we've got a clear vision of how that can be raised in record time, and we'll talk about that in a separate video. But the whole point is we're actually designed this to start small. So although the vision is many, many billions, we'll cover that in a moment. The start small is very achievable, particularly because of two cornerstone projects, which we'll talk in a moment. The design for the fund is actually, unlike many funds, 10-year fund structures, this is designed to be a permanent capital vehicle, but it's designed to list so investors can have liquidity, but they can also have a long-term holding period that many institutional investors really, really need and desire. And because of the focus, it provides the ability to deliver many strategic benefits to those investors, including the fact that it's a multi-strategy approach. So it enables us to deliver global impact, to be highly catalytic, but also to deliver what they really are seeking. So that structure, we think, is a breakthrough in fund design. And please do take a look at the video that explains the fund, where it shows it to be fit for modern times, but also able to deliver massive impact. Now, that fund will be investing in the themes and sub-themes of impact and the global goals, the SDGs. It will use something called the butterfly basket portfolio approach, which is something I've designed. And it really is a system where inside a broader fund structure, it will enable volumes of high value, early stage investing with high value add to progress then through stages to get to mid and late stage. And very simply, what this enables is a risk management, an impact load balancing, where organizations are not just treated like third parties. They are really, it's a partnership model where people are treated humanely, and the model is designed to really identify those and add value to those that could scale in the most intelligent of ways and essentially provide all the capital they need, but in a way that's fair and competitive and really exciting. But what the fund will do is it will also do what we call on and off market investing at the same time, which enables the investors to get risk management, but also impact management according to their needs. It's really exciting. So I do encourage you to take a look at that video. Now, of course, many people ask about governance, and governance is embedded in this model right from the beginning. So we're putting in place something called the Transform Global Trust, and it will be a foundation, but also it will provide governance, long-term governance, and provide also a think tank capability to make sure what we're doing is really aligned and on the right track. It will be funded, those professional management will be funded by 5% of the revenues from the bank, but it will also have external trustees from different groups that normally are excluded. So that will be future generations, NGOs representing nature. As you can see, the game changers that we're there to support, but also myself and the team and the investors. But as you can see here, the investors and myself and the team, we don't have long-term control. Now, of course, with this model, you have to get it up and running first. So the foundation won't have effective control for just over 5 years, but it will have an incredibly important role, including the observer roles, and the radical transparency is designed to embed in the model for the bank. So you might want to ask the question about value creation and where are we right now? Well, where we are right now is we're raising what we call 3 million in pre-seed to be followed by a 50 million pound seed round. Now, I'm going to talk about some very big numbers in a moment, but this starts relatively small. We're raising 3 million that will give equity in the bank, but also equity in the fund when the fund is established, should the fund be established as we believe possible. That's designed to enable us to put in place the media platforms and talent for the bank, but also to support 2 incredible cornerstone projects, as you'll see in a moment. And that 50 million seed round, when that's made, that will enable us also to seed the SDG 360 Game Changer Fund. So we will both be able to launch the bank and seed the fund, supporting those really exciting cornerstone projects. As we said, it will enable us to launch the media and put in place the core banking capability, but enable us to support the launch of Power and Builder. And when I say the launch, these are projects that are already practical and already generating revenue. Now, one is in reinvented motive power, the electric motor, the largest user of electricity all over the world, the number one usage of electricity. And not only is this already shown to be considerably more efficient than conventional electric motors, and also significantly more reliable, which has got massive cost implications for industry all over the world. But of course, the implications around carbon emissions are just incredible. And then the second venture is called Builder. And Builder has been developed by another entrepreneur. The first one, Power, has been Carlos Caballero Nunes, and Builder has been developed by Kim Christofte. And what Kim has designed is a system to reinvent construction, modular construction, in a way that is sustainable and also intelligently integrated with power for homes and for buildings that can capture and harness the power at a much lower cost, and also a way that can generate income, what used to be a cost base for households and for commercial buildings. So what's very exciting about these 2 ventures that we'll be supporting initially is they go hand in hand, because houses and commercial buildings, of course, use motors, they use power. And the collaboration of Kim and Carlos and many others that we're bringing together is just remarkable. Well, what we've done is we've been able to put in place developers who've already got land that is owned or optioned or offered, that will enable us to put over 200 million pounds worth of development projects in place over the first 3 to 5 years. These are really exciting, and they can use both the power technology and the builder technologies. So this is already happening, and both projects are already proven. They have to prove they can scale, and that's a different thing, and that's the value that Transform Global and the partnerships and the people that I'm bringing together can actually help deliver. So what they do is they de-risk the investment proposition for investors, the first 3 million and the follow-on 50, and they create a platform for the full vision of Transform Global to be realized. So what's that full vision? Well, we believe 18 billion pounds can be raised in a 3 to 4 year period. Now that 18 billion is 4 billion for the bank through multiple stages, starting with the first 3 and the 50, and 14 billion for the fund. So that is 9 billion at launch and a follow-on 5 billion at IPO 3 to 4 years later. Now we believe, and it's a multifaceted calculation, that the 75 billion in value can be created in a 6 to 8 year period through this strategy. That's through the media properties of Big Crowd and funding the globalgoals.tv and the banking operation and the actual fund itself. In fact, it's about 1/3, 2/3. So a third of that value, 25 billion, would be attributable to the bank itself, and 2/3 or 50 billion would be attributable to the fund. Now, this would be in both listed vehicles. Both vehicles are designed to list and be incredibly complementary. But part of the fuel for that is making sure all of the thousands of people that would be involved at that point are properly incentivized. So what we designed is something called restricted impact options, which is a generous but not overly generous option package, which aligns investor interests with impact generation, and of course, the needs and motivations of the many people that will be involved. So they get to be paid at a market rate and be paid fairly. But if they are able to generate the impacts that we're talking about, then over £8 billion would be available to them, of course, with vesting conditions and conditions that are not just financial, but are about the impacts that we generated, that we set down and achieve with the support of the foundation and its independent trustees. So it's about a clear win-win-win. Now, if we do that, it creates a very healthy return on investment for the investors. And for the early investors, they could be generating many tens and potentially, we won't go into any in the realm of promises or indications of this in this video. But what I will say is the returns for investors can be very healthy indeed. Of course, it comes with some risk, so we have to accept that. But what about the active impact investment this can catalyze? Well, the vision isn't just about 75 billion of value. It's about unlocking the capacity and catalyzing trillions that are able to generate and address the Sustainable Development Goals. Now, there's an awful lot to this vision. It's been many years, 15 years in development in one form or another. And what I believe right now is it really is an idea whose time has come. Now, if you're interested to be involved, get in touch. Now, of course, we're going to do a number of videos that update so people can, in bite-sized chunks, learn about the vision, the parts that are relevant to them, the media platform, Big Crowd and funding the globalgoals.tv, the fund, the investment opportunity, the governance. All of these are going to be covered. So I do encourage you to watch other videos in the series. And really, if you want to come into my Clubhouse rooms, which for many of you who know me, I've been doing Clubhouse from the end of February last year, 2021, up to November, where I had this huge development where we realized we could bring Carlos and Kim and many other people together, including the team in Norway with the Cashflow Group and the team in London with Studio 2 and others in Mexico and in Portugal and elsewhere. So we really pulled together a dream team. You can read about it on the summary, the executive summary. And if you want to get hold of a copy, just email me with executive summary and the title, and I'll be glad to send you a copy through. And you can find my details here. So like, share, comment, and subscribe. Go on to transformglobal.co and you can email me through the form that you'll find at the bottom of the homepage. So, or catch me on LinkedIn or Instagram or any of the other platforms that you can see there, or indeed come into my Clubhouse room. You can find details in the about information at the bottom of this video. Follow the links, get in touch, and tell us how you might like to be involved. And please bear in mind that, of course, we can't be investing until we've raised our own capital. The focus is pulling together the team and getting it operational. But do believe me that this is really designed to be catalytic and enable people all over the world to participate through the content on fundingtheglobalgoals.tv, through the active collaboration on Big Crowd, or progressively, depending on where you sit in the investment landscape or in the entrepreneurial landscape who's seeking capital. Ultimately, this is for everyone who has got the capability to deliver maximum impact towards the Sustainable Development Goals. So thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to catching you or speaking to you on Clubhouse or having a direct conversation. Many thanks.